I'm back. It's been a while since I've done one of these. And I really wanted to do one. We talked about it on the podcast last week, but I wanted to do one on Epstein a little bit more in depth. We got a little saucy on that one. We spent a lot talking about, immigration. We spent, I think probably an hour almost talking about immigration. So, just to get a little bit more in depth with the Epstein stuff, everything that's going on right now, it's absolutely fucking crazy. And to me, the way Trump is handling this pretty much solidifies for me. Sorry, my camera is blurry. There it goes. It pretty much solidifies for me that. Um, so it's. I said initially that I regret my vote for Trump, but he has done some good things that I agree with. And I like to pick apart things. I'm not going to just blindly follow him. That's what I think is the problem with the MAGA base is that they just blindly follow everything this motherfucker does. He's just a man, right? So they act like he was supposed to be like this savior type for the country, but he's doing some things that look very fucking suspicious. And so two things that made me really kind of start changing the way I feel about him was Iran. I didn't want to get involved with that at all. I think Israel, if they want to be fucking bullies over there, just let them deal with their shit. Iran has been saying that they're going to have a nuke for like 40 years. They've been gaslighting us forever about that. But then we don't do anything about North Korea. You know what I mean? Like, we don't do any joint operations with South Korea to, like, bomb, like, North Korea's nuclear facilities, nothing like that. So I just don't know why Iran is so special and Israel is so special. I mean, it seems like they control our government. It's a fucking mess. I'm just done with these foreign wars and shit. So that was the first thing that made me kind of start getting away from being supportive of Trump. Now, that doesn't to say that I want him to fail, because if he fails, then we're all fucked. But just like I thought Biden was a piece of shit, but I wanted him to do good because that is beneficial for all of us. It should be beneficial, but typically what these guys do is they benefit first, and then maybe we get like a little bit of trickle down benefits, Reagan shit. But then this handling of the Epstein thing, I'm not cool with. He is like fucking up, dude. Bad as fuck. He's just treating like Epstein like it's like no big deal, And it's like something that he ran on, and it was a big issue for people because to us it meant that maybe these super powerful people will be held accountable. I don't know why I'm speaking so weird. Accountable. I said that weird, didn't I? But to us, it seemed like they were going to be held accountable for something, finally. But that's not the case. It seems. But then they keep going back and forth, the whole thing looks fucking crazy. So I'm going to get into a little bit of conspiracy stuff too, as to why people think that possibly, Epstein meant more than they're playing off. Because right now Trump's just acting like, oh, it's no big deal, whatever. He's just some weird pedo. Even though he hung out with him, and he's on record too saying he's like a good guy and he hung out with him and shit. So, I was able to overlook that as long as like he released the files and he wasn't guilty. But I mean, he keeps doing this shit, like kind of brushing it off, and it makes him look fucking guilty, dude. I mean, we all know that he hung out with him. He even said so. So, I'm just gonna play a video here. This is on the Glutton for Liberty Instagram page. You should follow that. I post there like a lot, and I've been posting a lot lately. It was dormant there for a while, but then I just started, getting into all this shit. So, yeah, we're gonna watch this first video though. This is like the receipts of them saying like, there is Epstein files, and now that they've gone back and they're saying that there's not, it's like, what the hell is going on? So Trump did campaign on this. I specifically remember, like, yeah, dude, I want to vote for him because this is one of the big things that I wanted to see happen, and I want to see rich pedophiles go to fucking prison and or be, executed. You just shouldn't hurt kids. It's like, and it's this crazy blackmail thing, and like just evil people doing evil shit and getting rich and just chilling, dude. Just doing whatever they want to do. So, sorry, this shit is upsetting, dude. I'm very upset right now. I'm triggered. So here's like some of his cabinet members. I mean, you know, saying that, yeah, there's fucking, even his own son is like, release the files. So here we go.
Can be convicted of 34 crimes, but no one on Epstein's list has even been brought to light. I'm trying to figure out how that's possible, right, Bert? It's almost like they're trying to protect those pedophiles for some reason. I can't imagine why, right?
Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
Everybody in politics has a vice that's much worse than alcoholism, is the way that I put it. But we
release the list.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
That's another thing too. Kash Patel is all about it. Like, that's what he ran on, and people were super stoked, including me, when he got chosen as the FBI director or appointed, and then they had to vote on it or whatever. But he ran on that shit, and I just want to put this in here too. This kind of goes down to it, like, kind of ties everything together a little bit here. So, Kash Patel is married to a Jewish woman, and she's the CEO of PragerU. And I don't know if you follow that page, but it's some like right wing fucking. They say America or whatever, but she's the CEO of. Or they say that they're like America centric or whatever. Like, they are, but I think it's just a psychological operation. Because she is the CEO, and she is also Israeli intelligence. And she's like kind of hot too. And Kash Patel's Indian. Gross. So like, it's like a honeypot. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like a honeypot, and he's probably compromised, and she's basically his handler, and she's like making him do shit. Like, yeah, you can't release that list, dude. We're gonna kill everybody if you do that. So, just throwing that out there. She is Israeli intelligence, and they're married.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
In this case, in Epstein's case.
She was also saying in one of those like things that they did recently, like a few days ago, she was like, I was just saying it in just like, I just meant the files are on my desk to review, you know, and but then they're also telling us there were no files. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, none of it fucking makes sense.
It is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
I'm not ever going to let this story go because of what I heard from a source about Bill Clinton on a plane with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not letting it go, ever. Ever.
Are you still talking about...
Apparently, there was a thing, too. I'm just filling you guys in case you didn't know this. A couple days ago, it was rumored that Dan Bongino was, like, going to resign because Pam Bondi and how she's handling this whole thing. But now it came out today that he was at work or whatever, or he was at work on Friday, and he's working, or he was at work on Monday, I believe. And he was like, he just took Friday off, so then people were speculating, and then rumors started flying that he was getting ready to resign because of Pam Bondi, because of the Epstein list, and he's like, people like want to think that he's not compromised. I don't know. It's like, it's a whole fucking mess, dude. It's insane.
About Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
Not a good look.
Unbelievable.
How is it that my father...
Not a good look, dude. He just looks fucking guilty when he does shit like this. So here's another thing, too, that's... Trump keeps doubling down on, like who cares about Epstein, like, da-da-da. So this is what he's saying now. And this is, like, one of his more unhinged things.
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen, and I would say that, you know, these files were made up by Comey, They were made up by Obama. They were made up by the Biden, you know, we went through years of that.
Now he's saying they're made up. So they campaigned on releasing all the files and list. And then they got in there and were like, well, you know, we're getting ready to release them. All right, there's actually no files. We're not going to release them. Well, here's a video. Well, you know, it's like 11 hours of like pointed in one direction. And then it turns out that the video was edited, but it was 2 clips stitched together. And there's three minutes missing or something that just came out. And there's all this metadata on it that says like it's been edited and saved. And what metadata is, in case you don't know, it's basically like a digital footprint for like the file. So like that's when you like put in like a CD or something, for those of you that are fucking old enough to remember this. Like when you were burning CDs, it would have like the track names, the album name, all that shit. So like you put it into iTunes and it would just like export all the information, so you didn't have to manually go in and like, you know, type in all the tracks. If you're downloading shit off like LimeWire, you would have to do that sometimes, or Kazaa or whatever you were using to fucking pirate music. But so yeah, it's basically just has information of like edited. It like has like GPS sometimes. It's got the time and date, all that shit on it, and it's there digitally. And I'd made the joke that, because somebody reported that there was metadata on the video, and I had made the joke that Kash Patel's in there. I could just see him Googling, what is metadata? He's like, probably like, oh, fuck, I didn't even think of that, dude. So, I think there's a lot more to this than we're being told.
Russia.
Obviously.
With all of the different things that we had to go through, we've gone through years of it. But she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release, yeah. No, she's...
yeah, he just seems guilty, dude. He just is saying stuff that's very suspicious. I don't like it. And then here's something even more suspicious. They need to just get him out in front of the camera. I mean, at least he like talks to the... Biden wouldn't. He would just hide for like 2 weeks, and then this shit would blow over. But Trump's out there every day, and they're able to talk to him and shit.
President, I know you've urged people to move on, but I'm curious, why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled?
I don't understand it. Why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is. I really don't. And the credible information's been given. Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things, the Steele dossier, which was all fake. All that information was fake. But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's
dude, this is so
stuff.
crazy.
It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't...
He's, with this one thing, dude, he's destroying his fucking legacy. Iran and shit was kind of bad, and like constantly backing Israel and everything, but this right here, I think this is going to overshadow. If he doesn't course correct, then this is going to probably fucking destroy his legacy. His first presidential run was pretty decent, except for the way that he handled COVID. But this right here is probably going to ruin it, because I mean, this is... Everyone's like, well, what's the big deal? It's like, well, there's a bunch of elites on there. That's what we're worried about. There's elite pedophiles running our fucking government and getting away with it. I mean, they'll throw you in prison for not paying your fucking taxes, but these dudes are out here freely on an island partying, living it up. They're all fucking millionaires, billionaires, and they're fucking kids and shit. It's like, what the fuck? That's like the worst thing ever. I mean, you know, there's on a scale, I mean, in the Bible, I think it's all crimes are equal, but like here on Earth as humans, I would say it's like murder and then the rape. Well, like, so raping children, number 1, rape number 2, just general rape, and then 3, murder, and then everything else like below that. But we care about it because we don't want to be run by a bunch of fucking elite pedophiles and rich motherfuckers. He's got to be... I don't know why he doesn't understand. I don't know what's happening.
Understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say let them have it.
Okay, then. That's good. But stop saying the shit's made up, because that sounds crazy. I don't know what that is. Oh, so then there was a thing too. So House Republicans voted against releasing the Epstein list because a bunch of Democrats put it up. But what they did too, because at first it looked kind of crazy, and I posted about it. I was like, "What the hell's going on? Fuck Republicans." I mean, still fuck Republicans, but the reason why they voted against it is because they put it into a bill, of course, and then they put a bunch of other shit in there too. So there was like some crypto and defense thing in there as well. So that's why they voted against it. But it should also be noted that all the Republicans that voted against it are also funded by AIPAC. So just throwing that out there. What is it? The American and Israel Alliance something. It's a lobby group from Israel, and they fucking pay our politicians to vote and go to war on behalf of Israel. It's an open secret. But that's what I have for videos. Now I'm just going to do this rundown here. I use ChatGPT for it. I don't care if you read it along with me, but ChatGPT is a good tool. So, Ghislaine Maxwell. We'll get into her. They're all like tied to the Mossad and shit. So, Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell, was a British media mogul and known Israeli intelligence asset. After his death in 1991, Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Shamir gave him a state funeral in Israel with 6 former heads of Israeli intelligence attending. According to multiple sources, former Mossad agents, Maxwell helped Israel smuggle tech and spy on the West. They do spy on us, too. That was also a thing. If you saw our podcast, Israel was spying on us in 2001, I believe, prior to 9/11. And they had all these kiosks set up in the malls with those remote control helicopters. And I remember they were mainly on the East Coast, but and this is true. You can Google this shit. Like, it's real. So those were like basically like little fronts or whatever. And those little helicopters, I remember seeing them here in Colorado Springs in the mall, and they'd fly them around and shit like all day long. And yeah, that was an Israeli intelligence operation. So if you remember seeing those in the in 2001, that was Israeli spies. Because remember, it was like Middle Eastern dudes that would always have them. It was that and like Chinese dudes, I remember too. But if you saw a Middle Eastern dude running those kiosks, it was Israeli intelligence. So she also sold Promise. It's a spy software to governments with backdoors for Israel. Why this matters: Ghislaine grew up in an environment steeped in espionage. It's not a leap to say she could have continued in her father's footsteps, especially through Epstein. Epstein had no legitimate background, but massive power. He had no college degree. He dropped out of Cooper Union and NYU. He somehow lands a job teaching at Dalton School. It's a high-end private school. And he was hired by Bill Barr's father, Donald Barr, who wrote a sci-fi novel about sex slavery. I don't know why that's relevant. This is just what I can see who he was hired by, but the sex slavery thing, I don't know. That seems kind of weird. ChatGPT. I did want it to be kind of I asked it to be kind of like conspiracy minded with this. So from there, Epstein jumps to Bear Stearns, then mysteriously builds a financial empire managing money for unnamed billionaires, and yet no records of actual clients. Why this matters: Epstein's career trajectory makes no logical sense unless someone was giving him protection, money, or purpose. Les Wexner connection, Epstein's billionaire sponsor. Les Wexner, owner of Victoria's Secret and longtime Israel supporter, granted Epstein power of attorney over his finances. That's weird. Essentially letting Epstein control his entire fortune. Epstein was gifted a $77 million Manhattan townhouse by Wexner, largest private residence in NYC. Again, for no clear reason. And I believe that was when they found that apartment, there was like a fucking painting of Bill Clinton in a dress. And then there was also one of George Bush sitting on the ground playing with like airplane. This is a painting. It's weird as fuck. He's playing with an airplane, and then there's like Legos of like the Twin Towers, like all like broken and shit. Crazy stuff, dude. Blackmail operation structure. Epstein's properties, especially his Manhattan townhouse and pedophile island, were wired with hidden cameras. Confirmed by Maria Farmer, a whistleblower who said there were secret rooms and surveillance everywhere. His butler on Little St. James, the island, I believe that's in Costa Rica, I think, also confirmed surveillance rooms and filing systems. Why this matters. This setup looks like a private pervert's lair and more like a classic intelligence blackmail honeypot. He targeted the global elite, politicians, royals, and scientists. Guests include Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, who was, because he was under investigation by the FBI, he wasn't allowed to travel internationally, and since they recently closed the case, now he's allowed to travel again. And probably go to Thailand and do more sex, what is it called? Sex tourism? Alan Dershowitz, Ehud Barak, who's a former Israeli prime minister, Bill Gates, and more. There was everybody there, dude. Fucking Stephen Hawking and shit, like in his fucking wheelchair. Kissing on kids and shit, dude. That's so weird. He embedded himself into Harvard, MIT, and elite science circles, often funding projects and donating money, which you can get a tax write-off for. So that could be a reason why he was doing that. Ghislaine Maxwell is tied to Clinton Global Initiative and World Economic Forum. And Clinton Global Initiative, I believe, is that nonprofit to where it's like linked to like people like the Clintons, like massive body count. Like they've just like everybody that's like worked for that thing has like died mysteriously. Somebody, like there was like some guy that like was like found like hung. He like hung himself with like a power cord, and then he had 2 shotgun wounds to his body or some shit like that. And the shotgun was like 20 feet from his body, and they ruled it a suicide. Craziness. Why this matters. If your job is to compromise and control people getting next to powerful men and gathering material on them, this fits the mission perfectly. A 2008 prosecution, intelligence interference? Epstein's first arrest for trafficking led to a sweetheart deal, a 13-month sentence served mostly from his private office during the day. The U.S. attorney who cut the deal, Alex Acosta, later Trump's Secretary of Labor, and when questioned, Acosta said, "I was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and to back off." And this is all documented. Like, he was approached, and they said that he's basically an asset and to not fuck with him. I mean, he was already busted for, like, doing pedo shit. And he got a 13-month sentence, dude. Crazy. And this is straight, so why this matters, this is straight from a Trump cabinet official. That's not speculation, that's testimony. Alright. I think this is the Israel connection. Ehud Barak, Israeli Prime Minister, linked to Epstein. Barak visited Epstein's homes and was photographed entering the Manhattan townhouse. Barak also formed a mysterious tech startup in Epstein's building and received large sums of money from him. Critics have speculated this was a front or channel for Israeli interests. I mean, dude, it's pretty, like, obvious that... I mean, when you just... These are all facts, dude. You can Google all this shit. Like, just look it up. I'm just doing the legwork for you, but, you know, don't take anything I say as just ultimate truth. Look it up for yourself. Obviously, do your own research. Oh, I'm just presenting it to you. And, giving you the juice, and you just got to drink it, dude. Figure it out for yourself. So why Israel? Why Mossad? Israel has a long history of using espionage and blackmail to influence foreign governments, especially the U.S. The Jonathan Pollard case is one example. He was caught spying for Israel from inside U.S. intelligence. With Epstein's network of elites, Israel could easily gain leverage over American policy decisions, tech deals, and foreign aid. I mean, dude, this is like so obvious. Like, the more I read this, it just gets more and more obvious. America's unquestioned support for Israel. The U.S. gives Israel $3.8 billion annually in military aid. Both Republicans and Democrats rarely criticize Israel publicly, even when they commit human rights violations, like what they're doing now in Gaza. I mean, they've killed like 56,000 civilians. There's no fucking way that that's justified, dude. I mean, if the U.S. was doing this, I would say the same thing. If Mexico was doing this, I'd say the same thing. You know, if Canada was doing this, same thing, dude. Like, you can't just skip out on morality because of, like, well, eye for an eye, right? I mean, everyone keeps trying to use the Bible to justify, like, fighting and dying for Israel, yet they don't want to look at, you know, the other side of it, turn the other cheek. You know what I mean? Like, okay, they killed some people on October 7th, which is bad. But also, that also could have possibly been prevented. And what's his name? Netanyahu let it happen. So then they could fucking, like, blow them up and shit and occupy more territory. Because I know they outgunned them. And, you know, and there's also, so it's also known, too, that Israel funds terrorist groups or rebel groups. They're rebel groups when we're funding them, but then when they start doing other shit, then they become terrorist groups. So that's like ISIS became about because of us, and we were funding them. They were the rebels in Syria, and then they turned into ISIS, and then, you know what I mean? Like, it's so crazy, like, how this is all tied together. So AIPAC, the Israeli lobby, that's what I was telling you guys earlier about, is one of the most powerful influence machines in Washington. Also, no other country lobbies our politicians. There's not one country that lobbies our politicians. Israel's the only one. Crazy, right? Come on, guys. Open your eyes. Notice things. Just notice. It's the great noticing. Obviously, that's a new anti-Semitic thing. So, you know, be careful with that. People are going to call you an anti-Semite. You're probably going to... I mean, I'm probably on a list now for talking about this stuff. But, you know, I don't agree with their religion. I don't agree with their foreign policy. I don't agree with funding them. So that right there is probably enough to make me an anti-Semite. So, you know, I'm not like, oh, I think Hitler should still be around. I'm not one of those people, but... And I can't even be like, you know... I can't even be like one of these white pride people because I'm just not full white. Yes, I am white, and I can be very white passing, but I'm also Latino and Filipino, and it's just... I'm just a little bit of everything. Fucking Shawnee Indian and shit. Like, I can never be white pride, nor do I want to be. But I am also not okay with just letting Israel have influence over our government. I'm not okay with it. I don't give a fuck about funding their shit. Like, I mean, fuck them, dude. Honestly, they can eat shit, dude. They keep destabilizing all these Middle Eastern companies. When Trump went over there and he made all these deals with, like, Qatar and fucking Saudi Arabia and shit, it looked cool. Like, it looked like we were making progress with the fucking Muslims. And then now Israel's, like, threatening to... Well, they have been. They're destabilizing the Middle East again. So... And then I did another video, one last thing. I did another video on... how I was in a podcast, so these 7 wars in 5 years or whatever, but we've gone to countries. It was a thing that Israel wanted us to do, and I think it was Wesley Clark. He was a general, and he said that somebody brought a plan to him to fight 7 fight 7 wars in 5 years, but it obviously went further than 5 years, but all the countries we've been to war with or had something to do with, like Syria, Libya, fucking Iraq, Afghanistan, Sudan. There was one more. I can't remember. And then the last one is Iran. And that's what we're doing now. So we've gone to all of them except for finishing off Iran. We want some kind of regime change there to kind of carry out the Israelis' plan to control and install the, you know, favorable governments in the Middle East. So yeah, That's what I have for you guys. I think that there's this narrative going around that maybe Trump's protecting us. I don't know if I 100% buy that. I think that if he was like fully just like innocent, he would just be like, "I just release it, dude." But or there's another thing of he's protecting us because possibly it could destabilize everything if this shit comes out, which I don't give a fuck about. At this point, dude, burn it all down. And I'm not trying to sound like an anarchist, communist, like leftist piece of shit, but like things have not been working out for us. We've been voting, we've been trying to vote out the bad, and the pendulum just keeps swinging. Like it's just shitty, but it's like swinging shittier and shittier. So it's like it's not benefiting anybody except like the extremists and like the loyalists. You know, like all the Trump like loyalists, dude, like super hardcore, like MAGA, like blindly follow. They're all in on this. Like they don't give a fuck what's happening with Trump. They're just like, yeah, trust him. Just he knows what he's doing, guys. He's playing 8D chess, dude. He's playing 69D chess. So, yeah, that's all I got. Start a discussion. Let's talk about this, dude. It's crazy. I want to hear your theories about this, what it could be. And I'm not trying to hear no cope about Trump because I've seen enough of it from right-wing influencers. They all fucking say the same thing, like trust the plan, dude. Just trust the plan. So, yep. That's all I got. Make sure you guys listen to the podcast, like, comment, subscribe. Listen to it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also check out Caleb's gaming channel, Siphon My GooTube. Check it out on YouTube, and then he streams on Twitch too as well. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Follow Glutton for Liberty on Instagram. I'm on there all the time. You can talk to me too, because I talk back, dude. Kind of. Not really. I'm just kind of like, what? I'm too retarded. I just post stuff. All right, guys. Love you. Peace.